Amen. How many thank God for the service on tonight?
Yeah.
Amen. As Brother Lord said, today is Bible study night. We're going to get into the Word of God and let God have His way in His Word. Amen. Amen. Because we know it's going to be the Word that's going to keep us.
Amen.
Tonight is our last lesson on disciples. We've been through so much with these disciples. We're going to talk about being a denied disciple. Not thinking it's about you. We're going to talk about being a delivered disciple, being ready to be offered up before the Lord. We're going to talk about being decreased, making sure we humble ourselves before the Lord and not be puffed up and get the big head. What else we talked about? We talked about being dedicated disciples. Not in one day and out the next, but being committed. Not just committed, but being and staying committed. Yes, ma'am. And then we talked about being a discerning disciple. Being able to tell and recognize the move of God.
Yes.
And realizing that where Jesus is not, that's not where I want to be. And then we talked about being a dangerous disciple. Somebody who is able to tear down the kingdom of the enemy and build the kingdom of God. And tonight we're going to talk about being the doubting disciple. What is doubt? What is doubt? Sister Gwen? Unbelief? Sister Karen, you said unbelief too?
A lack of conviction.
A lack of conviction. As Brother Hall would say, have you lost your conviction? And when he said that, I think about like, ooh, that's a big word. I remember a long time years ago, when I first heard him say, I said, ooh, he used that big word. Let me go see if I know what that means. So I had to look it up. And it talked about when you lose your ability to hold fast to that which was delivered to you. When you get wishy-washy and wavering because doubt unset in. And why do doubt set in? Why do doubt set in? Sister Mays?
Because you don't know what you want to do.
Because you, between two opinions, do I want to be committed or do I want to slip and tip? Do I want to be faithful? Do I want to grow in the Lord? Or do I want to do what I want to do? And when we do what we want to do, we have lost our conviction. We begin to question. We begin to doubt. Doubting God opens up the opportunity for the enemy to move and to draw us away from the promises of God. So we have to be believers. Our first part of the lesson comes from Matthew, the 13th chapter, and the 53rd verse. It's about 5 verses, 53 through 58. And if anybody have anything to say as we go on, just raise your hand and we'll acknowledge it. Verse 53. And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these parables, he departed thence. And when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, and so much that they were astonished, and said, whence hath this man this wisdom and these mightiest works? How do people at home see you? How do people in your home see you? How do people who know you, who really know you, see you? Is your light shining? It's my light shining. People, that's what they see. Brother Leon, he one way at church, but when you get home, he raised all manner of evil. Can people who really know us see a change in us? And they say, we know who this man is. The next verse, it says, is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother Mary, and his brethren James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? In other words, they were surprised when they saw him doing the will of his Father. Have you ever had people be surprised when they see you? Be like, why are you so happy? Why are you smiling? What's wrong with you? What would you rather be sad, be bitter faced? Be happy when I'm happy. If I know Sister May's been through something, but I see her coming to church with joy, that's a testimony.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
If I see my brother, I know he's going through something, but he still got a praise. That's encouraging to me.
Yes, it is.
So even though we're going through stuff, let's try to be joyful about it.
Yeah.
Amen.
I know sometimes it's tough, but God is able.
Yeah.
Verse number 56, and his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence hath that man all these things? 57, and they were offended in him. But Jesus said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house. How many know doing right can offend people?
Yeah.
You can be living your life faithful to God and people offended. Why is that? Why? Why does doing right offend people?
But they ain't right.
Because they not right? Because they don't want to do right? They don't need you being that mirror telling them about themselves. Because when they see you, they think that, dog, I know I'm not what's supposed to be. And it's not like you're trying to throw it in their face. I remember Brother Wilson talking the other Bible study about how that buddy of his don't really want to be around him because he unchanged his ways.
Yeah.
Like I said, they don't mix. They don't mix. Verse number 58. This right here is the verse I want to stick on for just a few minutes. And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief. Do anybody have a thought on this? Brother Lloyd? And then I'm going to jump on this side. I'm going to go back and forth.
Okay. Well, with that scripture, the people that's supposed to know, the spirit and recognize the work that he do, because they doubted who he was and what he was really doing, they end up blocking a lot of other people from being blessed by Jesus. And a lot of times that happen in church. People, they doubt what you do and what you have, and a lot of times God be want to move, but they'll suppress the spirit because they don't actually believe.
Pastor?
Although Jesus was who he was, unbelief caused him not to do many mighty works. It don't matter how strong God may want to move in our behalf. If we don't have the faith, that kind of ties God's hands. A lot of times we wonder why God ain't doing this and why God ain't doing that. The question is, how much faith do you have in what God is trying to do? Or how much faith do you have in what you're asking God for? Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen.
Anybody else? And it says, and he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief among people who knew him. Among people who, as Brother Lord said, knew the word, knew the scripture, but because they knew who he was, because they knew his history and his past, he couldn't secure.
I was saying they didn't believe like they should have
Why?
who he was because they knew him as being the carpenter and the carpenter's son. So how he gonna be
Break it on
the
out.
son of God if he, a natural, like he the carpenter's son, like he just a regular old person, he not a, Jesus
Because of where he came from, they felt like it disqualified him. Because of where you were, that don't qualify you to do all these mighty miracles. And sometimes people will hold your past against you. What I knew you was like this. Yeah, that's what you knew.
Yes.
But do you know I've been changed? And Jesus said, I was that little boy, probably running up and down the streets, causing trouble. But then something clicked in me where I had to be about my Father's business. You might not accept who I am, but I know who I am. Brother Leon, you ain't nobody but that old plumber. But what did God say you were? He said, I'm not going to leave you in there to die.
That's right.
Come out and come a little higher.
Yeah.
Walk into, that's why all of us walk into what God has called us to be.
Amen.
And we want to make sure when we come to church that we're not hindering the move of God because of our unbelief. What happened in that story when Jesus went to go heal that girl? What did he do with the unbelievers? Sister Kira?
Kick them out.
He kicked them out. Sister Gabrielle, why did he kick them out? Because they didn't. They weren't together. But somebody would have probably said, even though they unbelieving, but because they make it large numbers, let's keep them in the room. But how many know God can't have his free course in that mixed up mess? He said, you know what? I need you to exit in order for me to move like I need to move. Pastor hand was up in insecurity.
You know, sometimes, God ain't gonna never go against his word. He said, without faith, it is impossible.
Go ahead and please listen.
And sometimes people want, well, God is doing this, but if what you say God is doing going against his word, then you need to reevaluate that thing you're talking about. So that's why he put him out, because he wasn't going to go against his word.
That's right. Sister Kira?
I remember Brother Lacey, how he would say, you know, like we recognize who is, you know, we know the spirit by the spirit, and we know, like, if somebody come to church, we know when they, like a sinner, you know, I know them and they do this and they do that. And he used to say, why they running them down the aisle, you know, because these two spirits ain't working together. One of them is saved and one of them not, so what they getting?
Exercise.
Getting them steps in.
Because of unbelief, as Pastor was saying, we can handcuff the move of God. God ain't gonna force himself in the room. He's not gonna be where mess is, where chaos is, where doubt is. That's hindering him from being the big God that he is. So when we have doubt, and we not so sure about a situation, Lord, it just seems like it's just getting worse and worse. What I suggest we do is we leave our doubt at the door. And then we come through that door with expectation. God, I don't see it, but I know you able.
Yeah.
And when we have that mindset of God, I know you able, I gave it to you, yeah, it's burning me down, but I'm about to cast this to you.
Yeah.
And when we put it in his hands, he can work it out.
Yeah.
But as long as our hands in doubt on it, we ain't turned it over.
That's right, that's right.
I gave it to the Lord. No, but your hand's still on it. Put it in his hands.
Yeah.
Trust him to work it out.
Amen.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Amen.
Anybody got anything else to say before we move off of this? So this is what doubt do. Doubt stopped God from moving the way he would. It didn't say he didn't do any works.
Come on.
It said it kept him from doing many mighty works. So let's not hinder God from doing his many mighty works in our lives on today. The next one, coming from John, the 20th chapter and the 24th verse. John 20 and 24. We're still talking about doubt. John 20 and 24 through the 29th verse. Verse 24 says, but Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Jesus came. One of the 12. They recognized him as one of the 12, but he was not there. He was one of them, but he wasn't there. Anybody get anything out of that? He was one of the 12, but he wasn't there. Brother Lord?
He was supposed to be a follower and a worker of Jesus, but when the time came, he wasn't in his place. So by him not being there, he ended up missing out on something that was great, you know, for the other ones that was actually there.
That's all right.
Anybody else? Pastor?
Boy, we just got to talk about doubt. I'm not 100% sure about that.
That's all right.
But when he came to
Learn
his
this.
disciple, and they was all gathered together, he first showed himself. Thomas was not there at that time. So he had to reintroduce himself to Thomas. Not by walking through the door, or not by just appearing, but Thomas had to touch him. I'm going to leave it like that.
Sister Karen?
I was going to say that Thomas wasn't in the place where Jesus told them to be.
Thomas was not where he was supposed to be. Jesus had gave them instructions.
Yes, he did.
And Thomas, the Bible called him still being one of the 12, but he was not where he was supposed to be. And by not being where you're supposed to be, you will miss out on what God has for you.
Amen.
Why are we missing out on what God has for us? Sister May?
But we're not in our place.
Because we're not in our place? Why are we not in our place, Sister Gabrielle?
Not being obedient.
Because we're not being obedient.
It's obedient.
He was disobedient and he missed out. When we miss out on the move of God, on the proof and the evidence of God, what takes place is what we're talking about, what the subject is about. Doubt. Doubt is able to set in. And we're going to see that. Verse 25. The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. We seen him. He said it. And guess what? We saw the man with our own eyes. You weren't here, you missed it. And then it says, but he said unto them, except I shall see his hands, the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I will not believe. What did he just do?
No more doubting.
Build doubt on top of doubt. It's something that he did. I don't know. I was debating with how to phrase it. And I was like, Lord, help me. Does Karen help me?
It's kind of like he was saying,
Saying
that,
you
lying to me. You know, like, I don't really believe that you saw him. You know what I mean?
Do you know that there's some people who walk right alongside you not going to believe your testimony? They were testifying to him.
Yes.
Been a witness to him. We saw the man. He kept his word. He came back. I'm not going to believe it. And we get so offended when we live in the life before our people. Well, I'm not drawing them. They don't believe what I'm saying. But if the disciples who walked with Jesus testified to another disciple, witnessed to another disciple that we saw him ourselves, what we think we are? People might not believe our testimony, but you know what they did? They believed what they saw.
Yes, they did.
Pastor?
I was just thinking he needed a natural thing to prove a spiritual thing. And how sometimes, like you said, when that doubt creep in, we don't go by faith of God, but we need God to, faith, I need $25, but we won't believe until we get the $25. We don't believe that God can do it unless we got that $25 in our hand. And that's what he was doing. Thomas said, hey man, if I can't put my hands on it, I don't believe it.
I mean, we put Thomas down so much, but we just like that.
Yes, we are.
We exactly like that. I ain't going to believe it till it happens. I know you said you was going to bring me some red beans and rice. I ain't going to believe it until I meet you and have it on my table. We're from Missouri. Let me show me. And that's what Thomas was. But what kind of, I don't know if admire is the right word, what I got from Thomas is he wouldn't just talk. When he said, except this be the way it be done, I'm not going to believe. Look at this next verse. It says, and after 8 days, again his disciples were within. And Thomas, this time, he was with them. This time, he was where he was supposed to be. You know how sometimes we know God has delivered a word, like Pastor said on Sunday. God tell us to be here, and our blessing is on its way. But then we move, and the blessing is still on its way, but we missed it. So what Thomas said is, I ain't gonna believe it until I see it. So what did he do? He got stubborn. He got stubborn until God did it for. Who else was stubborn until God did something for him? Thomas not the only one. Who else was stubborn until God did? The Shunammite woman. Some people would say the prophet told her to go, and she didn't do what he said. But she was adamant about, I need you to do it for me. In other words, help all my unbelief. It's somebody else too. Sister Angela?
I don't know if it's Elisha or Elijah.
What they do?
He wouldn't move until the Lord blessed him. I think it was an angel or something. I'm not quite sure the story.
You got the story right. Who was it though?
Jacob.
It was
I
Jacob.
don't know.
Jacob.
Okay.
You was at the door.
All right.
Jacob said, I'm not letting you go until you bless me. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I need you to do it right now. And sometimes we got to get just that adamant. Like, Lord, I know you said it. I believe it. But I'm going to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. I'm waiting on it. Thomas said itself. And then on verse 26 it says, and after 8 days again the disciples were within, and Thomas with them. Then came Jesus. The doors being shut, and stood in the midst and said, peace be unto you. When it looks like Jesus wasn't going to show up, then came Jesus. Have anybody ever had a then came Jesus experience? Where it just looked like all hope was gone and wasn't no way out. You couldn't fix it, but then came Jesus. Sister Kira?
I want to say, I think Sister Angela, when she was talking about Elijah and Elisha, Elijah told Elisha like to go back. He was being stubborn too because he wanted to.
What did he want?
He wanted the blessing, the double blessing, the portion of what the prophet had.
And what did he end up doing?
He stayed with him. He go back.
Sometimes we gotta be stubborn. Sometimes we get stubborn for ourselves and not stubborn for the spiritual things of God. We get set in ourselves, but when it comes to growing in God, we don't be as faithful and committed and dedicated to making sure it happens. And that's what we got to do.
Amen.
And then it says, verse 27, then said he, this is Jesus to Thomas, reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. In other words, Jesus didn't want him to be faithless. Jesus wanted him to believe, just like us. God wants us to believe. Verse 28, and Thomas answered and said unto him, my Lord and my God. Jesus said unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they, he's talking about us, that have not seen and yet have believed. Amen. How many believe on tonight?
Amen.
Yes.
I like that verse because Jesus said we blessed.
Yes.
He called us blessed.
Yes.
Even if we're going through, Jesus said we blessed.
Yes.
That's why it's important that saying that say, I am what God says I am.
Well,
And Jesus himself said we are blessed.
yes.
Let's hold on to that. We are blessed. We blessed. Whoa, this one right here. I'm going to step on my own feet on this one. So if I hit anybody else, we in the same boat. Matthew the 5th chapter. This is about being a developed disciple. Pastor Lacey had a message a long time ago about going through the what?
Motion.
Storm.
Was it the process?
Sis,
Process?
going through the process, being processed. Thank you, Mr. Chair. We know he had a lot of messages,
Yes, he
but that's what I was looking for. Being processed. Being processed. Matthew the 5th chapter in the 43rd verse. In this lesson, this part of the lesson right here, this letting us know that we, as being saints, should be mature. Handle stuff mature. We should have been grown from the milk phase into the meat stage. off the bottle, and whatever else you drink, make out of. Off the pacifier.
Baby food.
We should be more mature.
Yeah.
Higher heights and deeper depths in the Lord. And when you mature, you don't just focus on yourself. Like little brother Lord, it's all about him and what he wants and how he feels.
Yep.
But oh Lord, by and by. Verse number 43. Y'all, this is what a mature saint would do in these next few verses after this one. Ye have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. In other words, the Old Testament talked about an eye for an eye. That's what this verse is talking about. And then verse 44, this is what Jesus said, but I say unto you, love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. And pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. Is this easy to do? Yeah. Why? Why ain't it easy? Because when I read this, I said, Lord, you said it in your word, so okay. Why is it hard? Flesh is alive. We not denied enough. Pastor?
As human beings, we have built-in self-defense
Yes.
mechanisms. You hit me, I hit you back.
Fight or flight.
Yeah.
Either I'm a fight,
Thanks.
or either some people run. So whatever your nature is. But then he's saying this is what a mature person would do. Verse number 45. That ye may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. 46. For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? What y'all get from these verses? It's easy to love them that love you. That don't take no self-denial. Sister Kira?
He was just saying, sinners love their people just like saints love their people. They love each other.
As we said, if you really love somebody, what you gonna do?
Take care of them.
Take care of them.
Tell the truth.
What? You're gonna tell them the truth. You're gonna tell them the truth. If you really love somebody, you're gonna tell them the truth.
Yes.
In the 47, and if ye salute your brethren only, meaning if I only talk to other saints, what do you more than others? Do not even the publicans so. Verse 48. This one right here. Help us all, Jesus.
Yes.
Be ye therefore perfect. What?
That's what it said.
What? Did I read that wrong? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. Woo. How? How can we be perfected? How? Sister Gwen?
But I was going to say, we can be perfected in the eyes of God, because man will never see us perfect.
Amen. Brother Hobb?
Yeah, we can be perfect in the eyes of God, but see, they didn't even see Jesus perfect.
They didn't.
So, we can be in the eyes of God.
Yep. That's right. Brother Lord?
So our definition of perfect is not the same definition of perfect that the Spirit is talking about. Because as long as we do what Jesus did, amen, because even he had doubt at one point in time, but because he had a job to do, if you can recognize your own faults and then grow from it, then you're striving for that perfection.
How many know we got to keep striving to reach that mark?
Amen.
That perfection is the mark that we got to strive every day to meet that standard. And what do we have to do to meet that standard? to be what God wants us to be. We're talking about being developed. What do we have to do to become fully developed? In order to grow, we got to do some caring.
You have to keep your mind stayed on Jesus.
Sister Gwen,
You have to pray.
we have to pray. Sister Angela,
Fast.
we have to fast. Brother Lord,
As you were saying, before we started, you were saying that, it's time for people to grow up and
That's
mature
it.
in Christ. You can't stay a babe all the time.
Forever.
Because a baby, gonna handle a situation different than an adult would, because they have a different thought process. So we have to grow up and change our thought process while we're growing up in Christ.
if you're 22 years old and you still acting like a 2-year-old, something is wrong. Sister Lacey used to say, God ain't got no retarded children. If we still on that same level after 20 years, something is wrong. We should have grown. After being in the Lord, we should have some growth. The same stuff shouldn't defeat us, shouldn't knock us down. We should be on another level. We should be able to handle things better. When you first get in church and somebody step on your toe, you may want, but then after a few years, I know you didn't mean that, and even if you did, go on. Right? It's like, go on, keep it moving. So Lord, help us to grow up in you.
Yeah.
This is what I really wanted to do. I have not done it yet here. Ephesians, the 2nd chapter. I said, Lord, help us to reach this goal right here. Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, verse 19. And this is what growth looks like. It's been a household of faith. This is what growth looks like. Ephesians 2, verse 19. Ephesians 2:19. This is what growth in the church looks like.
After Galatians.
Yes, after Galatians and before, what is that? Philippians. Ephesians 2:19. This is what growth looks like. Verse 19. Now therefore, ye no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God, and are built up on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed together growth unto an holy temple in the Lord, in whom ye also are building together for an habitation of God through the Spirit. This is what a mature church looks like. It's together. It's a place where God can inhabit. It's a place where Jesus is the foundation and the chief cornerstone. It's not built on any individual or personality. It's built on the word of God, where it said Jesus is the foundation and the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly framed, meaning ain't nothing out of place. That's what it's supposed to look like. Everything ain't gonna be done in order. And at that first part, after being in God, it said, we are no more strangers. We are no longer foreigners, but we are now citizens to God. Just real fast, you don't even have to turn here. I'm just going to read it to y'all. This is Ephesians, the 4th chapter, in the 16th verse. Those verses we just read was talking about a building, but this is talking about the body. Ephesians 4:16 says, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. Meaning, in order for that whole body to be jointly fit together, it got to be on a foundation of love. And God said that's how he wants us to be, knitted together. Form fit, like, can't nothing get in between. that junk, that doubt, that discord, that trouble, that confusion, that junk, it has no space. It has no room. But how do we know the enemy's still gonna try? He gonna try. He gonna try. But it said that the whole body fitly joined together. Fitly joined is tight. You gotta be tight. My brother Lloyd is over here, and here I am. That's my brother, and I got an out with him, and I'm not gonna talk to him. But we expect the thing to stand up against the winds of the enemy. It's gonna fall. It's gonna fall. And that's what happened when we act immature. We're on the last part of this. And we done talked about him so much. Can anybody tell me who was the best disciple? Who was the best disciple? Who was the best example of a disciple? Who was the best example of, I see some mouths, I see some words. We don't talk about them a lot. Who was the best, our best example as a disciple? Think about it before you answer. It's not James. It's not John. It's not Andrew. It's not Thomas.
Okay, this is who I thought it was.
It's Shoreline Judas. We're going to go Sister Angela and then Sister Maggie. Sister Angela.
I was thinking Peter.
Okay. Who else? Oh, you think about Job? Oh, he was a good example.
Yeah, he was.
He was a good example.
Perfect enough plan.
Who is our best example of being a disciple? Sister Tanya? Did you have a hand up? You just, okay, you just. Brother Wilson? Stephen was a real good one. Brother James? John was a good one. Brother who? Sister? Brother, sister? Pastor?
I'm gonna have to say Peter also.
Peter?
Nope.
Y'all done gave a lot of good answers. Sister Gabrielle, Brother Lloyd?
I would say at different points in our lives, we can learn from each and every disciple.
Yes.
Because they all benefited us. Depending on the circumstances. But I think they few.
Brother Lloyd?
So before I give my answer, can I ask the question? So the disciple is just
Stand up and speak.
We got the same also.
So a disciple for me, the question is that is a person who follows, right? So for
That's
me,
when we first did the lesson, we talked about a disciple being somebody that's dedicated to the mission of the person that they following after.
so my person that I say would be the best disciple would be Jesus.
And that would be 100% correct. Jesus was a disciple of his Father. What did he say? I must be about my Father's business. I'm not going to this to do my own work. I'm going to go fulfill this promise for my Father.
Right.
The thing that he loved have been separated from him, which is his children, us. And in order for them to get back, he said he needed a sacrifice. So all of heaven received that word that a sacrifice was needed, but only Jesus said, you know what, Daddy, prepare me a body, and I will go. Disciples go. After they receive their task, their instructions, their lesson, after you get your lesson, they go. And what did Jesus do? He went and he made more disciples. He said, you know what? In order for me to redeem you, there's some stuff you got to do. You got to first deny yourself. And while he was saying, I know you got to deny yourself, I know something is about to come and I'm going to have to deny myself. What was that? When did Jesus have to deny himself? Huh? At the cross. And what let us know that Jesus had to deny himself, that he had to decrease, become a decreased disciple, that he had to be a dedicated disciple. What happened, Sister Kira?
When he was praying, he was saying, you know, let this cup pass from me, but nevertheless, your will be done.
His nevertheless. His nevertheless meant, you know what? I am dedicated to the cause. I am going to be committed to this thing. I started on this journey, and I'm not going to tuck tail and run. But I'm going to be dedicated to the cause of redeeming man.
Yeah.
Jesus also let you know what? He could not have went to the cross as soon as he started his ministry. He had to mature to that point. He had to go through being talked about by his own family, by the people he grew up with, denying who he was, not believing in him. So he had to mature to that point.
Yeah.
Don't just get up and think you're going to knock the devil out right. All right, sit down and learn you something. You know what? Let me get up and go tell this devil to go.
Yeah.
Don't get whooped. We have to learn to grow in God and not be so quick. You know what? I'm going to do this thing because I know. All right. God will not be made a fool of, but you will. So Jesus is our ultimate example of the disciplined disciple because he was dedicated. He set himself second. He was like, Lord, you know what? It's not about me. I don't want to do this, but I will. He was denied. Lord, he was denied.
Yes, he was.
He was denied. Let me see. So that takes us to John, the 6th chapter. Since I already gave an answer. John, the 6th chapter, in the 30th verse. John 6 and 30. And I'm just going to read this straight through. 30 through 40. They said unto him, what sign showest thou then, that we may see and believe thee? What doest thou work? Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Then Jesus said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven, and giveth life unto the world. Then said they unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread. And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. But I said unto you, that ye shall have seen me and believe not. All that the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast him away. For I came down from heaven, not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me. And this is the Father's will which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me I should lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day. And this is the will of him that sent me, that every one which seeth the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day. So Jesus said, you know what? I did all of this, not for me, but so I can point you to my day. So that y'all can see, you know what? I suffered. I was talked about. I was lied on. I wasn't believed. I was falsely accused. I had 12 followers. One of them betrayed me. One of them said they was going to be there with me even to the end, and he denied me. So in other words, Jesus was saying, you know what? As a disciple, we all going to go through some stuff. But will we be faithful to the cause? I hope y'all got something out of the lesson. Into the hands of the pastor.
How many see Jesus is a little bit different tonight? The ultimate ultimate disciple. I never thought about it like that. The ultimate disciple. Self-denied, like you said, self-denied, willing to go through everything that we got to do. Jesus say, hey, I gave you the, what would they call it, the blueprint. Yeah. I gave you the blueprint. I ain't tell you to do nothing that I ain't did myself. Amen. We just thank God for the lesson tonight. A denied disciple. And like I say, once you start maturing, then you'll realize that it's not about ourselves. Yeah. So some of us still need to do some maturing.
Yes, Lord.
Some of us we still got our feelings. Right there. Yeah. And I mean, it'll move up toward the heart. It's down the sleeve area now. Yeah. So when it's in the hand, you can get rid of it.
Yeah.
See, more and more people are now getting so touchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's moving closer to the heart. Talking about me. The pastor used to say, yeah, talking about you.
Yeah.
Because we can't go to heaven with this.
Amen.
We're going to have to lay it aside.
Yes,
Amen. On tonight, anybody desire prayer? Amen. If not, we just magnify God for his goodness. When you give it to God, the old song said you got to turn it loose. You got to let it go.
Yes, sir.
Because when you say I give it to God, but you still wearing, that lets in what? Doubt. Thank God for this lesson. Somebody told me I didn't even know what the lesson was about. But some of the exact words I told somebody, I said, give it to God, put it in God's hands on today. And when you do,